Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
And we begin with that breaking news happening right now on Detroit's east side. That's where police are on the scene of a shooting involving an infant.
We wanted to get right out to Larry Spruill. He is live at the scene on Hampshire Street, right near the Ferndale border. Larry.
We apologize.
So guys, right now we're still trying to figure out exactly what is going on out here right now, but we are trying to show you the scene for right now. We are on the east side of Hampshire and Park Drive, but we can take a look at that black SUV right over there. You see several bullet shots into the window right there, so we are assuming, we're believing that that car was shot at earlier this afternoon. Now, family members and friends seem to be out here as well, so I'm trying to talk to them to get information. But right now I did reach out to the police, and they are still working to find out the exact information as far as what happened out here. But crime scene tape is out here. Several police officers are out here as well, so I'm going to continue to work my sources to find out what happened here. But the only thing that we can confirm is that there was some type of shooting out here at this intersection. That black SUV seemed to have bullets in the window. That's the only thing we can confirm right now, but I'm going to continue to work my sources. We're live on the east side tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Larry. We'll check back with you a little bit later.
All right, now to concerns about the weather and severe storm warnings in the area.
Andrew is in for Ben this evening, and Andrew, these are out to the west mainly, is that right?
That's right, affecting our west zone earlier this afternoon and now also affecting our south zone, including in Lenawee County. You can see that here on Storm Tracker 4. Here, let me zoom in a little bit closer. The heaviest downpour is occurring still west of Adrian. Now you can see at the very end of this loop here, these showers and storms are diminishing, but very, very slowly. In fact, though, we are looking at the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for western Lenawee County. Fortunately, it has now been canceled early because of this diminishment. Now, that being said, we still have heavy downpours and lightning occurring. Although the winds may not be up to 60 miles per hour or greater, we're still looking at lots of lightning, as many as 15 lightning strikes in this scene alone, and places like Clayton all the way down to Morenci being hit with very heavy rain at this hour. So flooding is a possibility, at least in localized areas. So as these showers diminish, we'll continue to have warm conditions out there with temperatures hovering in the 70s and low 80s. You can see it's much calmer here in Detroit with 82 degrees, but it feels like 85 when you factor in the humidity. We talked about that humidity increasing steadily over the past 24 hours. We chatted about that yesterday. It has certainly come to fruition. 80 degrees right now for our friends in Pontiac, 79 in Mount Clemens. So if you're out grilling this evening or enjoying anything else, temperatures will continue to be in the 80s and upper 70s through the evening, with scattered showers diminishing by 9-10 p.m. later on tonight. We'll talk more about your weekend forecast and the possibility of more rain coming up.
All right, thank you, Andrew. The Detroit Federation of Teachers says the district is not ensuring their safety on the job, and so they're pulling out the strike card.
The membership is threatening a work stoppage if Superintendent Nikolai Vitti does not pull the plug on face-to-face learning scheduled to start September 8th. For months, the administration for the state's largest school district with 51,000 students has insisted parents must have a choice between remote and face-to-face learning, but all of that is poised to come to a halt. Our Paula Tutman shows us what's at stake and why.
As Detroit moves forward with its plans to send some of its students back into the classroom for face-to-face learning, a potential minefield opens up today with the teachers union.
On Wednesday, our teachers, our membership is going to engage in a strike authorization vote.
Terrence Martin, who represents some 4,300 staffers in the Detroit Public Schools Community District, which includes more than 3,000 teachers, says his membership does not feel safe returning to the classroom, and Wednesday will vote to strike. Those teachers, however, involved in remote learning would not be considered crossing the picket line.
We don't believe that the health and safety of our students and our staff has been at the forefront of the district's plan. We don't have any assurance that our members and our students are going to be safe.
Good morning. You'll remember that Local 4 was given an exclusive tour of the start of the in-person summer school in Detroit in July, in which we were shown the temperature scanning machines at the entries, the student masking, the cleaning regimen. Let's talk about the specific things that you don't feel address your safety needs.
Our buildings are not ready. We have very poor ventilation in a number of our schools. We don't have hot water in a number of our schools, which these are two elements that have to be in place when you're talking about battling COVID-19. And overall, what we're trying to do is really protect and eliminate the spread of this virus in the Detroit city.
The teachers union says it has not been part of the planning process in a way that it feels it has enough information or safety to send its membership back into the classroom, something that Superintendent Dr. Nikolai Vitti vehemently disagreed with during our Education for All town hall last night.
There has been engagement. The question is, how do you move forward with trying to keep everyone's interests in mind? And it's nearly impossible to do that. Sometimes you just have to make hard decisions.
Carol Knight has every intention of sending her daughter Zoe to school for face-to-face learning and says this is a roadblock to educating students who already have challenges getting access to proper education.
My daughter wants to go back, and I'm just not going to argue with her anymore.
The bottom line is this union does not want any face-to-face learning. They want to begin school with 100% remote learning. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Okay, Paula, so how is your school district planning to start the school year? Well, our team at clickondetroit.com really put in the work and has a list of every Metro Detroit district's plan.
Yes, it even includes districts outstate, so it gives you a real snapshot of what we are all up against when class is back in session. So make sure to check it out. Just go to the reopening school section on clickondetroit.com. You'll find the link right at the top of the page.
All right, we want to get to some breaking news just coming in. The Michigan High School Athletic Association has decided the 2020 football season will be moved to the spring.
Let's get to Jamie Edmonds with that decision. And Jamie, football does have a higher risk of spreading COVID-19.
Yes, Karen, that's what the MHSAA is saying today. There's just too much risk, too many unknowns to play football this fall. In a release today, the MHSAA said the football season switch was made based on consultation with state health department officials and after surveying MHSAA member high schools on their progress and preferences after the first 4 days of practice. Football is considered a high-risk sport for potential spread of COVID-19 because of its level of player-to-player contact. The MHSAA executive director said they tried to find a path forward for football this fall, but there's just too much uncertainty, too many unknowns to play. Now, other fall sports are scheduled to go on as planned. Volleyball and soccer are considered moderate risk, while cross-country, golf, tennis, and swimming and diving are low risk, for example. Further guidance from the governor is expected regarding indoor facilities. And you guys, I'm hearing disappointment from players and coaches after this news.
All right, most definitely. Thank you, Jamie.
More coming up in sports. All right, well, better news today in the coronavirus case count. The state says 748 new cases have been confirmed in the last 24 hours. That's 373 fewer than yesterday. Also, the state reports 11 new deaths from COVID-19. Today, Governor Whitmer and the state's chief medical officer says the number of cases seems to have hit a plateau.
Well, that certainly is good news. Much more still needs to be done to get the spread under control. Grant Herms joins us live tonight with a new mask initiative and what the governor has to say about the start of the school year. Grant.
Well, we did expect the governor to have any kind of new guidance for schools, but instead she referred back to her plan from 6 weeks ago as schools trying to figure out a way to reopen or if they're going to reopen for in-person class. In the meantime, she also announced that mask initiative aimed at helping Black and brown communities hardest hit by the pandemic.
In her briefing today, the governor announcing a new partnership with FEMA and Ford, giving 4.4 million masks to minority communities that have been disproportionately affected by the virus.
And more often than not, it is people of color who don't have the financial luxury of working from home, who take public transportation to get groceries and other services, who don't have access to quality health care in a consistent way, and whose neighbors may be environmentally jeopardized due to other factors.
The announcement of the program coming as a top health official in Grand Rapids predicting masks would likely need to be worn until next April. But as focus shifted to reopening schools, Whitmer shying away from direct instructions on whether students should be back in class this fall.
These are decisions that are going to need to be made at the local level, and Michigan is in stride with other states that are navigating this very same thing.
With the deadline for school budgets tomorrow, district leaders, teachers, and parents and students all hoping for more clear advice beyond the state's online dashboard, which says schools can reopen for in-person learning with limited capacity. The most concrete advice coming from the state's top doctor, Dr. Janae Khaldun.
And I encourage every school superintendent who is developing plans for in-person instruction to mandate masks for children of all ages.
Whitmer and Khaldun both asked for a better federal funding plan to help fight the virus as we look ahead to the school year. That has not been a popular ask from the White House nor from House Republicans here in Michigan. House Speaker Mike Shirkey saying today the state is just going to have to suffer through it. Karen?
Actually, I'll take it, Grant. And we also saw our first day of 1,000 cases in weeks on yesterday. Did any of those state officials have anything to say about that?
Well, they did say despite that very scary number, the state is trending in the right direction. But coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll have a better look at those numbers, including which counties around Metro Detroit are starting to worry some of these state experts. Back to you.
Okay, we'll talk to you a little bit later, Grant. We appreciate it.
Detroit police say a 14-year-old fatally shot her mother's boyfriend early this morning.
It happened after a domestic dispute at a home on Steel Street, right in the area of 8 Mile and Schaefer on the city's west side. Defender Sean Lay is there live tonight. Sean, you've uncovered a lot of new information since your last report at noon.
Especially information from an eyewitness who says the mom in this case suffered horrible domestic violence injuries time and time again. Last night, same thing. She was being beaten. Her boyfriend she watched pulled out a gun, threatened to shoot her, and then she watched her 14-year-old son also grab a gun and open fire.
Be on the lookout for a male wanted in a shooting.
That male, just 14 years old, able to get his hands on a gun and shoot and kill a 38-year-old man.
Last seen on Steel, 14-year-old male is armed. The male is with his twin brother.
Witnesses telling us it was chaos in front of the teen's home at 1 this morning. That 38-year-old viciously beating the teen's 34-year-old mother. The boyfriend pulling out a gun, people scattering. Witnesses say he threatened to shoot the teen's mother. Police say that teen grabbed a gun, fired multiple times, killing his mom's boyfriend. We asked police if that teen saved his mom's life. The answer, yes. It sounds like he may have saved his mother's life.
You're correct.
Where did the gun come from? Police are still working to find out. A teen getting his hands on a gun that fast. Are neighbors surprised?
Yeah, yeah, actually. I mean, well, honestly, no, actually. No, it's easy for anybody to get a gun nowadays. Everybody's got guns, so.
Anybody gonna do that, defend their mother. If somebody, I would do the same thing.
He's been released to the custody of his mother pending the investigation. We are in communication with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and they are aware of that.
I also spoke to that young man, that 14-year-old's father today. He says both the mom and his 14-year-old son are okay tonight. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4 Defenders. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Sean. It's a question that doesn't have an easy answer. So what does defunding the police really mean?
Dismantling a police department, what do you replace it with? Who then goes out and handles an armed and violent suspect, an active shooter?
New tonight, why its definition may really depend on who you ask.
And Michigan State Police don't normally investigate a barn fire, but they are up north after what they found after this fire.